Okay, so now I can see that, and people should be able to hear it. Type a hello if you can hear my voice now. Type a hello, hello. There it is. Yeah, it killed everything. And then there's the desktop audio, so now they can hear good old Justin. If you want to say something.
How is everyone?
There we go.
I'm gonna speak slow and sultry.
Cool. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. My computer did a Windows update, and it like reset everything. Every single little thing that I had was reset, including like it was really weird, kind of how deep the reset went. But all right, guys, we're working on Dice Boy today. I went with red originally, so we will pretty much just do the same thing. But all right, so let's start off. I've got heraldic red, and isn't dragon red our other red here? I'm pretty sure it was. Right there. So we'll start off with some dragon red. Are you just using a capture card and nice camera for the down view? Well, that makes it sound so lame. No, I've got fairies that do my bidding. I summon them through a summoning circle. But yeah, no, I'm using not a capture card, but I'm using the I almost said Elgoo, the Elgato 4K whatever, and then it's running into my Canon Rebel SL3Z. All right, so let me fix the palette cam, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. I'm shocked that it didn't just reset everything here. It did, of course. There we go. Where's focus? There we go. All right, we're ready. We're ready to rock and roll. All right. Of course, it was another... it's so funny. We'll get in the chat. So, like, Justin and I get together 30 minutes before anything starts. And then, like, for 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a row, we end up talking about something. Like, the full 30 minutes. And then we're like, oh, we got to start right now. So...
Yeah, it's particularly bad on both Luca and Anne's show too. Although Anne will often leave to kind of get stuff ready, so we can't talk. But between you and Luca, yeah, we'll just get to talking. So
get to talking. All right, so I've got this color relatively thin. Nothing super crazy though, but I do want the zenithal to show through somewhat. Throw shoe. This is George Bush in 2004. That's a deep cut. Of course, if you don't have a zenithal highlight, it's all good. You can just give yourself a good coat, and we will layer everything back on top. Big thanks to everybody that was helped buying all of my excess Reaper minis. You all did a pretty good job of removing a lot of my extra stuff, so I do appreciate that. They're no longer 50% off. They're all 40% off though, which I still think makes them the best price on the internet. So please, if you want to help me make room in my garage, definitely check out the store. I'm also uploading all of my new products. So over the weekend I ended up doing the new Ve Victus minis and like RPG scenery and accessories and stuff like that. So those are uploaded, and then today into tonight I'm going to be doing R&E Studio, and then that's it. Everything should be up to date as I wait for all of the other new February releases to come out. So, depending on if you want to wait or not. But, and then we're still at 81 patrons. We gained one person and lost one person over the course of like the last week, so that's pretty cool. No panicking involved. Nothing happened over the weekend for Patreon. It was a weird extra 5-week weekend scenario, so nothing new there. And then this weekend's not Patreon stuff either for the same reason. First weekend of the month. So it's actually kind of nice, even though I worked all weekend. and it is like nonstop. I woke up this morning and was already doing 3D print order stuff at 6:15, so that should tell you just how slow and lazy I am. But so we're just gonna let this dry. I'm wondering if we should do something in the interim. So let me grab, let's get nut brown, and let's get some of the black. And what else should we mess with here? I guess we'll just get some white on the palette. We'll just kind of set it up. I did do a little bit more painting though this weekend. I'm sure you guys saw I did the typhus miniature. And that was for a private lesson. And I like the way it turned out. We're starting a bust that I lost a part to next, but here, you can see that. For those that know, I think it turned out really well though. We did some nadiral tinting at the end, right, with some purple, but otherwise looked really dope. So for a really short paint job, this was a really, really quick paint job. I think it looks good. We went with the traditional colors, nothing too crazy. So the bugs on the back we didn't want to spend a lot of time on, that's why we just have like kind of phoned in colors, right? But I think it looks really nice. Alright, so I'm going to take the nut brown, brush tip of white, 2 brush tips of white, there we go. So honestly 50-50. And we're going to use this on the gloves, the hands. Kind of a skin tone. But we'll wash them down so they're a bit darker. Happy Miniature Monday, everyone. How are you doing? Okay, we got that, and now I'm gonna add black to this, so it's just gonna make a... Let's just make a dark gray. There we go. And this will be the color that I do for the, I don't know, like, the limbs, I guess. So, actually I want that way darker. That's too light, there we go. Really just like a super dark gray. Because we're gonna end up washing over the stuff anyway, and my red is still wet in those areas, but I'm not too concerned. Because we are gonna end up washing stuff down. Oh yeah, I should just let all that dry. I'm trying to move too fast. There we go. I also spent the time last, or really over the weekend, so I went back through and re-indexed like all, gosh, I don't even know how many posts, really, but I reorganized and sort of reset up the entire Patreon, since we have had so many new people join, right, and all of the old content I put in now this like vault post type thing. So I don't like delete anything whenever people, like every month or whatever, which is pretty typical for some things, right? I don't like do month-to-month control over the content. So, but I went through and fixed all that stuff because some of the newer people were having problems like finding certain things, and so that took a long time to get working, but it's all set up now as well. All right, so we are going to go against our normal routine here, and we're going to do non-metallic metal. So I have this sort of nice warm gray, and I'm going to put it directly on top of our zenithal here on the blade, and I want to make sure the zenithal is showing through so we can cheat. There we go. I always like to start in the middle in terms of tone, not like the physical middle of the blade, but, and then the kneecaps and the elbows. Use the same color. And then let's do this on the interior portion of the shield here. You painted the Duckman, yeah. That's honestly one of the best Patreon videos I think we've ever done, just because I loved how that entire paint job turned out. And the miniature we're talking about is the Dragnus, I don't know, Duckman Warrior. Really awesome sculpt. But it's one of those non-metallic metal videos I always suggest to people anytime they're trying to get better at the technique. Which, I have that miniature for sale, actually. I don't remember how many extras. But he's discounted. And a lot of people, so someone put in an order that was like $150, and it cost so much to ship because I'm an idiot, and since shipping is a flat rate, I didn't account for the fact that I'm giving such a discount on nothing but metal miniatures. So that was kind of bad, but you know what? Hey, my goal was to get it out of the house, and that's what I did. So, but there definitely were a few people that had a $40 order that was $18 for me to ship because it was so heavy. But hey, you know, I'm big smart guy over here. All right, really, we're just waiting on stuff to dry. We could do the boots, I guess. Whatever, we'll do the boots. Wreck the shield. I don't remember what the shield. The shield had a gold duck on it, didn't it? I think. I'm gonna add a little bit of the same red to our nut brown here. Make a nice warm brown. And just paint all of the boot. Alright, actually we can do the two first here with the same brown, just to get some different color in there. Hey Hollow, the answer is no, but you can obviously look up the sculptors that they hire, and you can message them and see if they take on work. Most of them do, but it's always, you know, depends on how busy they are. I know Christine Van Patten does, but she usually is always booked. I know that Chris Lewis would do it, but he's usually sculpting for the guys at Cav or doing Reaper stuff. So I mean, it kind of just depends. Usually Reaper keeps their sculptors pretty busy. Oh, that's not where you wrecked it. I see. What's nice about this paint job, kind of similar to other things that we've done, once it actually starts to dry, is when you get, really once the stage is done, we're just doing finishing touches the entire time today. So I'm going to take our polished leather and we'll do the base color for the non-metallic metal gold. We don't really have a good sort of preset with these colors to do non-metallic metal gold, but it's okay. We'll make it work. So I'm going to use this as our base color. I don't remember what we're doing on Patreon this month. I know I talked about it last time. I think it was more texture stuff. I don't recall. The miniatures are cool though. I think one of them is a Reapercon mini. I don't know. I'm talking out of my mouth here currently because I just should look. I'm always so busy I don't remember. Okay. Giant Snake and the Tengu Wizard, that's right. So it was free hand cloth and gems on the Tengu, and then red and black Friend of Jack on the Snake. Thank you. Thank you. See, I remember as soon as I know. I just can't remember otherwise. Alright, that should give us a pretty good starting point. So I'm going to get some heraldic red here. Heraldic red, sorry. Let's go to a new area here. You like the snake so much, you bought two. I remember for a long time that snake was out of stock. It's popular. And then I'm going to grab some of our orange as well. So we can work it into our highlight. Move this out of the way. There we go. Alright, you gonna play nice? Let's see. It's still pretty wet, but we can get started. So, this red is pretty weak in terms of pigment. It's not really like a strongly mixed color, so to speak. So you can pretty much just take the color directly and begin layering with it without too much worry. Most pigments are like that when it comes to red in general between manufacturers. So it's not like a unique thing. So what I'm going to do first are the sort of organic curves, etc. of the face. All these will be catching highlights in general. We'll be doing lots of different layers with all this too, so don't really fret if you feel like you're not doing well your first time around. And then we'll go ahead and do our edge. We'll be doing this for pretty much all of the edges of the die, and then tapering the corner like so. And that's how we're going to start building up all of the highlighting. On the top here, we'll just do the whole thing. Down the edge, highlight the corner like that. And we'll start building it up slowly. I'm avoiding the eyebrow area right there currently just because it's still wet. I don't want to tempt fate. Cause any potential problems. Now on the top, I'm actually just going to pretty much glaze, because we're going to go brighter, so I'm just going to glaze my red all over that side. What dye type is your favorite? I really don't care. I'm never the person that gets to play D&D. I'm always the person that is the DM, so I don't have any attachment to, like, you know, a skill with a certain die. Like, I'm not like a rogue throwing 1,000 d6s doing, you know, backstab or like whatever. I'm not throwing a bunch of dice for my Eldritch Blast or sneak attack. Sorry, not backstab. But No offense to the dice collectors out there, but yeah. Don't have a favorite. Just like I don't have a favorite color either. Blasphemy, I know. Clean the brush out. When you say glaze, you mean a thin watery layer? No, just thin. Just thin. Watery would be a wash. I think I'm just gonna glaze, actually, all these sides towards the top because it was so thin with the zenithal. But you can see how it's drying right there. There you go. That's the thing with red too. It is a bit reflective as you work with it. Reflective, sorry, shiny. Has a bit of a gloss. The only one that doesn't really have much of a gloss that I've seen is some of the scale 75 paints, and then I just think that's because of the type of pigment they're using, and then the Chimera colors are matte as well. But those have so much pigment, it's like, it's crazy. But that's the whole point. It's the whole point of those paints, man. That's why they're so expansive. Alright, so just kind of pulling down very thin. But I do like the shading that we've got already. It looks really, really nice. Are you adding a thinner? No, you should. If you no, well, whatever. Painting advice literally means nothing because everybody gives different advice. But I'm of the school that you should never use anything but water. For miniature paint, like high-end miniature painting especially, literally you're essentially doing watercolor painting because of how thin everything is. Most paints already have like flow improver, retarder, like specifically Reaper paints do, mixed in already. So like it kind of doesn't make sense to add more mediums to your paint. Now, if you're someone that has problems, you know, getting smooth coats of paint, things like that, that's kind of like the cheat that people will do. So they'll add like a medium, like floating medium, Lamia medium if you're like a Games Workshop person. You know, there are all these different products you can use, but at the end of the day, it's a crutch, right? Because literally, water's all you need. So, I mean, mediums work, but you just need water, that's all. Unless, of course, you're airbrushing, then yeah. Then yeah, you want to use airbrush thinner and things like that. But using the brush in general, you don't need anything else. All right, so I'm relatively happy here with where we're starting. So I'm going to mix in a little bit of our orange, just a brush tip, into the red. Now this takes a while to kind of start layering up. I'm actually going to grab a skin tone as well. So grab your peachy flesh if you've got it. Because the brighter we go, I don't want to add white. We're going to have to a little bit towards the end, but I'm going to pick up the color by adding a little bit of the peachy flesh, so that way it stays away from more of the like pastel pink. I'd rather it go like a warmer highlight. So we will start in the corner of the mouth here, and then let it taper as it goes around the lip, and then the other corner of the mouth. And back to the front. Let's see, where do we want to start? We started in the corner of the eye last time, so we can do that again as well. You can see how nice that highlight is. Very, very subtle. Let me see, I feel like we're rocking really, there we go. The contrast on this is fighting the camera. Really, I should say the white balance, but... Doesn't do you guys any good if the color's all messed up. I was watching somebody paint on Twitch over the weekend, and it was cracking me up because they had their saturation and contrast adjusted on their camera, and it was like... it's kind of like, hey, if someone's going to try and do what you're doing, it's not possible. Go across the top of the lip. Up under the cheek there. We're just sort of sculpting out all those details. Taking the same color thinner, bringing it down to this bottom corner, like we did last time with our base color red. Same thing in that corner. We're essentially doing the exact same steps over and over, smaller amounts, all over the mini. Top of the die. Top of the die to you. Andre hasn't been in our chat in so long. It always makes me sad. Hopefully everything's cool in Andre Cat World. Down here at the bottom, you don't need to be applying as much, right? The further down the body we go, obviously we're starting to hit shadows. We'll do this bottom side a little bit. I'm not going to worry about those down there, really. I mean, we can do, like, a little bit down the edge just to play nice. But it's in shadow. A little bit in the front. Actually, we've been neglecting this side, but that's okay. We can layer that back up relatively quickly. It's starting to look really good, though. Nice and smooth, gradient highlights. Highlights? Why can't I talk today? Highlights. I'm gonna add another brush tip of orange. And this actually should be... we'll do a little bit of the flesh tone there. There we go. The white is really just acting as like a more opaque filler as we mix our highlights more and more. Or not the white, sorry, the skin tone that I'm mixing in, but you get the idea. We'll do the front of the brow. And really this isn't the brow, it's like the under part of the brow, but the way that it's sculpted, that's how it's functioning for us. There we go, do both of those. Corner of the eye, down that nice little swoop right there, underbrow. down that corner a little bit more. Oh yeah, we're starting to look really, really nice. Right between the eyes. There's also this kind of strange part of the sculpt right there. I understand why it's there. I just feel like it doesn't make sense visually, though. Highlighting the ridge is kind of tricky. I ran into that the first time I painted this miniature. I didn't really know what to do. It's kind of like an extra little lump. We'll do this. Coming down that edge a little bit more. And I'm not going down the whole edge. I'm kind of doing like a third of the way. So the middle of the edge should be the color, you know, whatever was there originally. And then I'm going from each corner a third of the way down, if that makes sense. So just divide it into threes and go that far. Math. 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 All right, pop quiz. We're gonna do our multiplication tables. You ready? First person in the chat. I'm kidding, we're not doing that. We're not going to do a math contest here. I was really bad at math growing up, and my parents took me to a Kumon learning center. For those that know what that would even be. And did that a little bit. That sucked. Joke's on you, Mom and Dad. Yeah, right. I would much prefer a high-paying STEM job right now, but, you know. Here, down here. This one's a lot less rich in terms of saturation than the one I previously did, but I like the contrast that we've got going on. I feel like it works. They're both very similar, but I feel like this one I like a little bit more. It's always weird painting the same mini twice. Now the other minis, by the time we get to them, it won't feel as odd, just because it would have been longer since I painted it. But so now what I want to do, I'm going to go back with our original heraldic red. Heraldic. I don't know why I always add a heraldic. That's so strange. Maybe because I think of like Roderick anytime I say it. Roderick. That's probably what it is. Phonetically, my brain wants to do that. And I'm actually going to layer it as a glaze into some of these lower corners, just to saturate it a little bit further on the sides, so that way it looks less organic, if that makes sense. So like, the closer I am to the face, the more I would want to do that, just because I want the organic shape to stand out a little bit more in terms of how it's working with color. So this is all very thin. It's going to look super saturated currently, but as it dries, it's going to mellow out a lot, just because of how thin it is. Thus is the nature of glaze application, typically. And then we'll do the same thing a little bit more up top. I mean, not really that much. Maybe down here. But I'm pretty okay with where we're at with these colors. Let's see, a little bit more down here. More on the top right there. We'll see how these dry. I think that's actually probably exactly what I was looking for, though. This little part inside the brow is killing me. Yeah, it's definitely not a neon dye like a lot of the paint jobs for them. Even though I'm pretty sure Rondo's the one that painted these, if I'm not mistaken, like the art that they show off. All her stuff is usually very bright and creamy. Okay. So why don't we make a little wash here? So I'm gonna grab some water. I'm gonna grab our brown, a little bit of black, a little bit more black. There we go. Yeah, a little bit more black, a little bit more. I keep like fake tapping my brush in there. There we go. We're gonna wash this all over the interior side of the shield, including the hand. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get much more black here. Make it much darker. And put this wash over the feet, legs, little kneecap armor. Okay, and then we want to use this color on the blade. But we need to make sure, so I'll do it on both sides first relatively quickly, and then I gotta go back with some water to thin it down a little bit more across the top. There we go. And we're only using this wash to cheat like 2% more than if not on there. And then I'm gonna do a little bit on the interior portion, like so. Don't worry if you get it a little bit on the edges of the polished leather color on the gold. Cool. Then I want to take some of our red and a little bit of brown. Not really the maybe some of the orange too. Here, it's gonna be a very. I'm getting as close as I can to auburn shadow or rust brown. That's the trick. But so we just want like a really deep brown red. There we go. We're gonna make a wash out of that, and that's gonna be our secret base for our non-metallic metal gold. Not the best, but we will make do. By the time we layer on top, nobody will know. It'll just require a little bit more work. One complaint about this though, this sculpt, I'm not sure why the interior side of the shield wasn't sculpted. Right? Like you have this big lip, so am I to assume that it like wraps around, so this should actually be silver and the interior portion should be gold? I don't know. But I feel like there definitely should be a lip. So we'll paint a very thin fake one, right? How about that? But I feel like that's missing. And then on the other part of the sword here, boom. Cool. Getting there. Let's see, we got our skin tone. I'm gonna grab it over here. I'm gonna mix in a little bit of the polished leather and then a little bit of our brown. We'll highlight our teeth. I know I had a gold tooth previously. We're not gonna do the gold tooth this time around. Unless you want to. Then feel free. And I'm just leaving some space between the teeth here, just to make sure that they are nice and sectioned out, which of course I took it too far at the middle tooth, but we'll leave a little bit of a line. Make sure it's all good. There's a little bit of the tooth there showing, and a little bit of the tooth there showing. Okay, got that started. Wash that down at some point here. Okay, everything is drying though relatively well. Let's get really dark black here. Well, gray, actually. And we'll do the eyebrows. So you can wash those down. So just a regular gray. Then we'll wash them down with black. Alright, so the sword looks pretty chill to me. So we've got our gray that we had initially. Down here, I'm going to add some white to it. Get some water mixed in right about there. Let's see, a little bit more water. There we go. And how did I do this? So, yeah, okay. So it should be... Do we want to do it a little bit more difficult, or do we want to do it easy? Let's do it easy. So this is going to be the bright end on top. Reflections on metallic surfaces are always opposite on the top and bottom, illustratively speaking. Not always true in real life, but in terms of miniature painting, that's always a safe bet. So the bottom side is the side that'll be brighter down here. And we don't need to meet them right in the middle, but close enough. And then it's inverted on the opposite side, so instead of the tip, it'll be down here. And then the tip on the bottom, like so. Cool. So now we've got that blocked out. Let's work on all of the parts at the same time. How about that? That'll be a challenge for today. So if I want this to look like a nice rounded object, I'm gonna want a reflection that really sells that. So easiest way, it's kind of a conal shape here like that. That's easy. So that'll be kind of like our sort of setup. I still want that to dry before I go back around down the sides, but I will highlight our center reflection. Don't worry too much about the interior part there on the gold. And then down the side. And down this side. Like so. We can clean up anything we need to, right? This is all just placement. Okay, so I need more black on the palette as we sort of like work out our metal. I may actually want to, here we go. Beep boop, beep 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 boop boop. Just like that. We'll just make an entire new area of the palette right over here. There we go. Some white over here as well. All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit of black to make this dark. Some water. And we're just going to, let's see, that's pretty much the tone we have already, so more black. Because I'm wanting to build in our shadow and then taper. Darker like so. There you go. That'll help you see what I'm doing. Tip of the blade. What I'm doing now is like the easiest way you can possibly do non-metallic metal. You always want to go semi-bright, then dark, meet in the middle, and then highlight from there. Okay. Then what I have is pretty much that middle of the road color, right? So like the same base color that we've already had on the blade. Mix in more, there we go. And this is what I will end up glazing in the center, connecting the two. Just like that. Create a nice smooth transition. Easy peasy. This side. That's a little bit crazier. Non-metallic bronze and copper, well, they're pretty much the same. They're just different colors. I mean, that's the thing, right? Non-metallic metals, it is... There is no difference between non-metallic metal and normal painting. So the best way to think about, like, why you may be struggling is either A, because of the shape that you're trying to paint. So the shape of the metallic object, if it's round, if it's a blade, if it's whatever, the position it's in. And that's it, right? There's no trick to it other than the colors that you're using, right? I mean, if the color is off, maybe it doesn't look correct. But beyond that, it's just like normal painting, like a normal gradient highlight. But that's really like the best advice, is just knowing that there's no real like special trick to any of the color. It's just more so like the shape is kind of where people pay more attention, or rather should pay more attention. Here we go. See, I've got a nice gradient there. But yeah, I always tell people when they're starting off with non-metallic metal, or like the classes that I have, right? The videos that I have for non-metallic metal for people to practice on. I always say, don't think about, like, literally don't think about it like you're painting metal, and it will magically become much easier. Alright, so now I need more white, because we're going to build in... Oh, you know what? We've been forgetting, like, the kneecaps and everything, too. Whoopsies. Here. Quick little highlighting. And the edge. I just have like a conal shape highlight there just because it's a round surface. We'll do the same thing on the elbows. Okay, so now we can begin to move a little bit. Get my brush. Now we haven't done any of the edges or lining, which is like the very crucial portion of non-metallic metal. We've just sort of been blocking in our colors, so we'll pay a little bit more attention to that as we start moving up here in our tones. Let's see, so that's pretty bright jump, but we should be okay. So I'm gonna do our edge. Try and decide how thick to go. I think that's probably good. Now, of course, if you're one of those people that hates non-metallic metal for whatever personal reason, you can just use metallic paint. and you'll be fine. I doubt you need instruction to make a sword look like a sword. My sword's a little bendy here, though. A little bendy. Bit of a blemish there on the blade, so I'll wipe that off. There we go. My brush tip was not as wet as it needed to be. It's alright, we'll clean up. We'll clean up our edges. Or maybe not, who knows? We'll see. Ah, yeah, there is a... The edge here on the bottom is wonky. It is not being nice to me. I feel like I just hit the top of the die's head. Hopefully not. Nope. Cool. Go back here on the other parts. Alright, so making sure the paint is thin, brush is wet. Go back in. Start bringing in our highlight here. Maybe add some scratches, something like that. Just for placement. Couple scratches. Uh-oh. No! Oh my god. I was like, why did I leave my Facebook open? Sorry. Let me close it. Alright, I gotta close all that. We'll just clean all this up, actually. I'm not wanting to spend my entire life on the interior portion of the shield, so I'm just going to make this darker. Pretty much replicating the same shape, right? Just with the darkest color on the opposite side of the shield. Like so. Try and make that shadow work a little bit more. I'm just like continually wiping the excess off. Okay. So now I'm going to take this darker color really quick. Wherever I had some scratches, just make sure we actually have a line above. How many times am I going to punt fake with this? The answer is a billion. We'll go back and clean that, but you can tell, right, after you go back and you add your darker line, it actually looks like there's a chunk missing. It goes on top because the reflection obviously is hitting that bottom lip. Depending on the position of the sword, everything like that, obviously, too, that will affect everything. Whatever the object is you're working on. Alright, so, pleased with that. What are we looking at? Okay, cool. Time-wise, we're doing good. Alright, so I'm going to add a lot more white as we start moving our way up. This brush is kind of scuffed, but it's okay, we'll make it work. I did open brand new brushes over the weekend, but this is not it. Damn, why'd I do that? You done goofed. I, of course, went right over that little line that we had. There we go. All better. And some more brightness here. And we're just doing like very, very simple highlighting. We're not trying to win a contest here. We're trying to get it painted. But it looks okay, I feel like. Looks alright. Looks like a sword, right? Right? I need that. It's okay, guys. I know. See, I need to do this top part, or bottom. Whatever, the edge. The bottom of my edge is a little messed up because I tried to clean it. It had a really bad mold line down there that was just like hanging off. There we go. That helps a little bit. I kind of want to go back and hide that though with like black paint. Is that possible? I don't think that's possible. Okay. I don't think it works that way. It's alright. It'd be nice if it did. Okay, same brighter color. Alright, so let's do our quick gold here. Now then, I'm just going to straight up use our skin tone mixed with a little bit of orange. So very light orange. This is much easier, one, because we don't need a gradient transition, but two, it's a bit of a secret. Easy way to paint gold. Go super bright first, and then just glaze your yellow. But anybody that's part of Patreon knows that, because we do it so frequently. And we'll do the very top part here. Just like that. Pretty much want to make a circle here on the top of the pommel. Is it the pommel or the hilt? I don't know. Confusing my weaponry terms here today. Actually, in the 15th century, they didn't refer to it as that. They referred to it as the knight's last resort. They would make it out of Damascus steel, which is the preferred method of weaponsmithing in feudal England. Thanks, internet guy. That was for Justin. Alright, that was easy enough. And then we'll do this. We'll do a little... Alright, so I'm going to be matching our highlight. Please do the rest of this. No. Actually, it's not known as a stream. What you're doing is a internet video broadcast. You could call it technically a multimedia broadcast, because it includes voice and video. I learned that in my Com 101 class. Yeah, dude, I'm an internet expert. I'm the actually guy. I'm here to ruin a good time. Actually. Well, the real way that you know I'm not one of those guys is because, like, they usually comment about, like, how you should be painting or, like, how things are supposed to look, but they actually can't paint themselves, so that's kind of like the trade-off. So, instantly outed as a fake. He's a faker. What's that from? Where they're like, you're a faker, a big faker. I forget what that's from though. It's like a cartoon? I'm trying to recall what that's from. You're a big faker. Was it American Dad? I don't remember. Let's see, so we're just gonna do a big old circle highlight right here. Following along the same highlight direction as the banded highlight we did above it. Oh, phony! That's what it is. Barn al guano in the foraging process. Oh. Actually, I'll have you know, in the novel 1985 by John Orwan, they mentioned Damascus steel as a way to do a CIA thought experiment. Okay, bottom side. You're a big phony. That's what it was, yeah. It's been a while since... See, I haven't rewatched Family Guy in a while, but I have rewatched American Dad more recently, which is probably why I was thinking it was from that. At least that's what my brain was telling me. I don't know if I have it in me to rewatch Family Guy. That, like... It was one of those things where it's, like, on late at night when you're going to bed. There was, like, a whole period of my life that whatever was playing late at night on Adult Swim is what I ended up going to sleep to. And I think Family Guy played it, like, midnight or something for a period of time. part of the time. Man, you know what Sydney and I watched over the weekend? We watched that glass blowing show on Netflix. And yeah, they made every blow joke in the book possible. It wasn't terrible. The host was kind of cringy. But we are like very dangerously running out of things to watch, so we're gonna need some new shows to drop ASAP. I mixed some more of the skin tone in. You could actually probably use the skin tone directly as like your final highlight here for our gold. I'm just adding a little bit here on the brightest areas. Boom, boom, boom. Good. We'll be done here in another 15 minutes, most likely. The Expanse. Oh, we did. Yeah, we started watching it, and then Sydney like was just not interested. So we can probably keep watching it, but we'd have to restart watching it if that makes sense. Oh my god. I have so many comments, trash. Actually, gold wasn't used in the weapon-making process. It's far too malleable. It was only used as ornamental weapons during the 1800s for ceremonial weaponry. I myself have ordered many replica weapons that I could use for self-defense, I'll have you know. But I like to display them whenever I have people over to my house, which typically is very rarely because people only come to my house in the form of DHS workers doing welfare checks. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, so what I did is I took a little bit of our orange and the polished leather and I made a real sort of nasty brownish tone here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to glaze this over our darker areas here on the gold, and look at that. Boom. It gives us this nice golden hue. X-Files, man. X-Files is one of my favorite shows, Sharky. I would love to force Sydney to watch that. I actually started watching Stargate, and I really love that show, but she was busy. She started like... I fell asleep, and then, because it was like middle of the... It was like Saturday, I'd been up since 6 a.m. and she started cleaning and I fell asleep. So, but I would like to rewatch that too. I definitely enjoyed it. Very enjoyed. Yeah. Thanks, Trash. I feel like Trash and I are definitely on the same page here with our internet know-it-all person. I'm gonna glaze the same color down here on the bottom too, just for funsies. Thanks for the rado. Hey Dice Guy, we're painting a Dice Guy today. Alright, so let's start wrapping up our fun here. So I'm gonna take some of the brown, mix it with the leather, and with the skin tone here, and we're gonna begin to finish up highlighting up the hands and everything like that. This shouldn't take too awfully long. With his Mickey Mouse gloves. Non-metallic metal? Yeah, we did it in about 30 minutes, I think. Nothing crazy. I typically for this show don't like to do anything that's too difficult, right? But we always try and do the miniature start to finish in about 2 hours or less, usually like an hour and a half-ish on a good day. On a good day. I'm just kind of outlining our fingies here. Do the knuckles. And I'm just going to connect it all with our little outline. It just adds way more dimension to be able to do that. Nice and simple. I'm going to taper it down a little bit further, but I just want to get the color in right here. Like so. A little bit darker. Why is that yellow? Why did that just turn yellow? What did I do wrong? Alright, we're going to ignore the back of that. We're just going to ignore the back of that hand. Alright. Boom, fingies, dunzo dunzo. Let's see what I missed here. The chap. X-File reruns. Yeah, I've never seen that show. Or anything related to it necessarily. Why don't we highlight up the twofers? Pearly whites here. I'm leaving like a dip of shadow towards the bottom just to kind of show that they're like rounded inward a little bit, right? They're like turning into the mouth. And then that way too, right, you're still able to highlight the ends of the teeth. I need a little bit more on this side though. If you did want to do the gold tooth, you can obviously do the same gold that we did for the weapon. Simple enough for you. There we go. I wanted to make sure to get that little bottom edge. All right, so let's do the eyeballs. Let's see what colors do. How do I want to? Let's see. Let's do something weird. I don't quite recall how I did the eyes the first time around, so we'll just kind of pick this strange color. They're a little bit hard to get in. I mean, obviously the eyes are sculpted, so easier than your typical 28mm scale miniature, but... Or 25, as the official Reaper fact says. I forget when. Didn't Adrian ask me... She was doing trivia, and I was like, I'll shave my beard if I'm wrong. Because I could have sworn, right, that they did heroic scale sculpting. And then she was like, wrong, dude, it's 25. And I'm like, oh my god, how? Which, obviously, this is not a 25mm scale miniature. This is definitely more 28, but... I did not follow through with the threat. I think maybe that was like the Bones 5, like live stuff they were doing. Maybe I don't remember, man. Seems like forever ago. So funny, there was the thread where someone was like, do you think the Bones 5 stuff will arrive late? Like, what do you think the chances are? And my response was like, I hope I never show up, so I don't have to feel guilty for never painting anything. But obviously I want everyone else's to show up. Just not mine. Even though I didn't pledge like a gigantic pledge. I just got the big dragons and stuff like that. Alright, we got some eyes there. I'm gonna clean them up. See, I'm gonna clean up the edge of the eyeball here as well. A little bit of red. Boop. Oh, that barely helped. Yeah, we'll leave it. We'll leave it. I don't want to mess with it. I'm just using the skin tone here for our eye. Let's see, so let's do a line. Oop, gotta clean that up. And a dot, and a dot. A little something like that, and then clean up where it's spilled a little bit. That was a noise. Java update. I'm not worried about no Java. Alright. Alright. So, what do we got? We got boots, hair, and numbers. Alright, let's knock out the eyebrow hair here. Easy. I'm just gonna go with a light gray for the highlights. Painter's choice on the eyebrows, though. You can switch it up if you want brown, black, blonde, green, cat, dog, glizzy, hamburger, whatever you want. Ha! That looks so bad. There's a mold line across the eyebrows. Oh my god. What psychopath did that? Okay, I'm just gonna wash a dark black on top. Jeez, we're gonna put the mold on the eyebrows? Oh my god. Okay, sometimes I just get so cracked up by some of these decisions. Okay. So, let me take, what do we got? Let's do, I'm gonna take barbarian flesh and mix it with our nut brown. We'll do the footies. $50-50 to start. I'm just gonna go right across the top of the loaves of bread here, which is kind of what these shoes really look like. Cartoon bread. What are those? Looking like pastries from a Ghibli film. I'm glad the what are those the what are those meme phase is gone. Now it's all diamond hands and rocket ships. Okay, I'm just gonna make a wash black and our darker brown here. And just push that back up onto everything we just painted to taper it into the shadow. Easy peasy. Short squeezy. Okay, and then for the nombras, I'm just going to make a really neutral, like grayish color here. Make sure it's nice and runny. And I'm just going to go in for it, man. We're just going to paint these nombers. You can do all kinds of tricks here. You can flood it, wipe it off, yada, yada, yada. Or you can just be quick. Paint the inside, move on. They're not too small. And then, of course, if you do mess up, you can just hit the edge with your red. You can also do some darker than others, right? Like the further down the body you go, you can mix in a darker gray. Yada, 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 you get the idea. But for our finishing move here, we're just killing it and painting in the numbers. If you're really crazy, you could do OSL. As if every letter is glowing. As if controlled by evil. Isn't that the meme? I believe that's the meme. That's for old school Miniature Monday people. What brush do I use? I use a DaVinci Maestro Series 10, size 1 for everything. Everything. It's as precise as a scalpel. It's as accurate as a Swiss watch, man. Yoink, that one was janky, but it's also on the bottom. Can I do it with the blade in the way? Probably. Probably. No, we're not gonna mess with that. We're just gonna bend the arm. Go and break that arm. I'd say that's it, right? Am I wrong? No, that's it. We can fake paint the the bass here real quick. And just wash it like crazy, but I'm not, you know, as they say, painter's choice. Just doing some quick stone color here. Let that dry. We'll put some something on it. Look at the base warping under the pressure here. Can't handle it, man. Let's see, what color do I want to use? Let's use my favorite base wash color of like a rust brown type of sitch. A little something like that. Boom. All right. I think it looks pretty good. I think we've done a pretty good job here, man. Looking nice. Looking nice. So that is pretty much it for today. Yeah, I mean, I think it looks great. I'm happy so you can compare the two, right? Let's look at his twin brother here. I think I like the one we did today more. I don't know about you guys. The one I painted previously, right, is more saturated, but I feel like the non-metallic metal really plays nicely with the sculpt. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Next week we'll be working on. I don't remember who's next week. Is it the guy on the big throne? I think it's the throne boy. I think I could be wrong though. I don't know. Either way, Justin, do you have anything new for us? Any housekeeping? Any announcements? Anything that people need to know? Have you changed your diet? Have you done anything new with your skincare routine? Like, what do you got for us?
No, nothing has changed. I do get to get my fourth or third or fourth COVID test tomorrow morning. Nice. Before I fly out to Aspen. And then I'll be there for 5 days. But then, so you guys will be in the hands of Collins and John from Wednesday to Friday. So all I have to say is Godspeed. But and good thing, Josh, your show was today.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I should be back, and we'll kind of get back to normal.
Sweet.
But outside of that, I don't have anything updated for the shows or anything right now.
Well, have a blast on your trip, and can we raid my buddy Matt E?
Yeah, sure. What's his channel?
MATTYEE. Matt E.
Perfect. There we go.
Awesome. All right, Oakley Dokley, everybody. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next Monday. Adios.
Thank you guys very much. See you then.